recognized symbol of excellence for your entertainment.
I think it's good to be as cold as this little guy right here.
Welcome to Machino Music, the show that puts the music in Machino music, with your host, me, Brett Strong. Today on Machino Music, it's Alice Cooper, 80s album ranking. Raise your fist and yell. Okay, here we go. Alice Cooper, 80s album ranking. Big Alice Cooper fan. And he had these different eras. I mean, he had the original Alice Cooper band era. And it was like, you know, like hard rock, early heavy metal, pioneering of heavy metal. Then he went off on his own with just Alice Cooper the guy. And still kind of kept in that thing, got more theatrical. Then in the 80s, he just kind of went for a bit in a new wave direction. And then came back full on heavy metal. And it's pretty well stayed there and just being more embracing heavy metal. Because he always kind of was heavy metal. And he was one of those guys that transitioned well into the 80s glam metal, hair metal, whatever you want to call it. Because his songs were always very anthemic, stuff like I'm 18 and School's Out, or like early hair metal tunes, you could say, you know. But interesting period, so we're going to get into it here. Starting at the bottom, there's actually an album I do not have. One of the few Alice Cooper albums I don't have a physical copy of, because this one's always been really hard to find. That's Zipper Catches Skin from 1982. A lot of people really like this album. I mean, it's okay. It's got some cool tunes on it. But it was like kind of in the middle of the new wave thing. And the thing is, like in the after From the Inside, 1978. In like the late 70s, he was working with Bernie Taupin, famous for writing with Elton John, and that unfortunately got Alice into cocaine. He'd just come off of alcohol, he started drinking again too, but it was the cocaine. And Alice was like writing this insane music, which he does not remember writing. This is the blackout years, the beginning of the 80s, where like he has no memory of recording or touring or doing anything for any of these albums or these songs. But he's since said there's actually some cool tunes throughout these albums. But this one for me, I don't know, there's some good ones. I mean, I like Make That Money, Scrooge's song. That's really cool. Also, Zorro's Ascent is a pretty fun tune. I mean, it's a bit out there. I mean, again, it's Alice Cooper whacked out on cocaine. But there's a great line from that tune, actually. If heaven ignores me, then the devil adores me. That's a great line. And he probably doesn't even remember writing that. But it's the kind of thing, like, he would put in a song now, and he's just like, or look back on it and go, wow, that's actually really good. So, some good stuff came from it. And also it had this very strange TV commercial.
I was going to call it Shy Kidneys, but, I think I have another title for it.
So yeah, Alice Cooper getting his getting the Franken beans stuck in the zipper. So yeah, Zipper Catches Skin. That's where that ranks for me. Next, I'm going to go Special Forces, 1981. This is right in the new wave thing. This is like a totally new Alice Cooper. He made that appearance. I mean, look at him here. This is from that appearance that he made on the Tom Snyder show, just looking absolutely frightening.
That promotes the character. That promotes the character. The more normal I get in my regular life, the more bizarre Alice gets.
But yeah, I mean, just look at him. So, he looks like a skeleton. And there's a great tune on here about skeletons. Skeletons in the Closet, which is actually probably my favorite song on this album. It's, you know, I really dig that tune. I like Who Do You Think We Are? 7 and 7 Is. Did another version of Generation Landslide, which is the original from Alice Cooper Band song from $1 Billion Babies. Did a updated version, Generation Landslide 81, live, so it's, yeah. I mean, this album is what it is. I mean, it's got like strange song titles. Look at you over there ripping sawdust from my teddy bear. Okay. I mean, kind of hard to place this one, but I do really like kind of the new direction of it. I think for me it's a little bit better than Zipper Catches Skin, mainly because of the tunes that I mentioned. And it's just so different. So, I don't know. Kind of hard to rank these ones. Next up, I'm going to go 1983 DADA. The reason this one ranks as high as it does for me is, I think, just the overall creepiness of this album. And kind of historically, what this album could have meant. I mean, this album very well could have made Alice Cooper like a flash in the pan. Because this could have been the very last thing we ever heard from him. He was so screwed up. Drinking again, and of course the cocaine, and I mean, just, I mean, even the title track, DADA, or just Da, creepy. It's just like instrumental, and it's just very, very strange. I mean, this is your Halloween soundtrack. Enough's Enough is a pretty cool tune. I don't mind if I make it new wave. Formerly Warmer is a really creepy tune. Dyslexia is very strange. I Love America is fun. I mean, that's one he could probably do now and have some real fun with it, just with what's kind of going on in the United States. Kind of making fun of very grandiose Americans. And it's really funny. One of the funniest Alice Cooper songs. But the very last song, Pass the Gun Around, is just like, whoa. If that was the last song we ever heard from Alice Cooper, creepy. And even it just being the last song of this era, knowing what he went through during the early 80s, it's just, whoa. Because it's like a song about like alcohol addiction, like pass the gun around, like pass around the, and that's also like very much a cocaine song, very much like just being, you know, messed up, getting into some bad things. But yeah, I mean more just historically where this one ranks, but I don't go back to it a ton because it's, you know, a bit of a hard listen. And I think a lot of these sort of these blackout period albums are kind of a bit hard to listen to, but put that one where it is because of that. Okay, up next, Flush the Fashion, Alice Cooper 80. This was the first of the blackout albums, but really the only one that he actually kind of sort of remembers writing the songs. Like he remembers more of this album because he wasn't as screwed up. And actually around the same time, the year before, in 1979, he did this, I guess it's like a CBS special that was never finished, called Galaxy Tour. And it's just Alice Cooper like around like a space station talking about like stuff. He's like Carl Sagan on coke.
And we'll be meeting the most amazing alien creatures. They seem to be everywhere. Whoa! Galaxy Tour.
Yeah. Very bizarre. And then he put out this album, starting to go in a new wave direction. I mean, there's some really cool tunes on here. You got Talk Talk, which is a cover of a song by a group called the Music Machine, who were kind of like an early, kind of, I guess you could say kind of punk band. Very definitely like an influence on new wave, and that's why it's a perfect song to cover as a new wave song, and Alice Cooper was the one to do it. But yeah, really cool tune. I really like Talk Talk. And I like the original by the Music Machine. I have that record somewhere. We'll dig it out one of these days.
One of these days!
Also got Clones We're All, which is kind of sort of the big hit off of this. Also, it has what I think is my favorite Alice Cooper song, and maybe that's why this one ranks where it does. The song Pain. I love that song. And that was sort of like a leftover. That was kind of when he was still doing the original Alice Cooper's character, because it was part of the movie Roadie, which stars Meatloaf as sort of this slow-witted truck driver, a roadie. And Alice Cooper appears in the movie. He's doing like an Alice Cooper concert, and Alice Cooper appears playing Pain, and he's in the Alice Cooper makeup. So that was kind of a leftover. And I think that's why it kind of stands out, because it doesn't sound like the rest of this album. It sounds more like a classic Alice Cooper song, very theatrical, like stuff that he was doing in the 70s. So I really like that tune, and could possibly be my favorite Alice Cooper song. And he's been performing it more recently live, which is really cool. Also, Leather Boots is not bad. Grim Facts. Headlines is a cool song. That was a big spit I just did right there. But yeah, no mind flush to fashion. There he is on the back, strung out, on cocaine, looking very new wave. He also had, at this time, he had like sideburns on his cheeks. Not like where sideburns are, like on your hairline. Like, he had like growing out of his cheeks. Not taking care of himself. Okay, here we go. This is where it gets into the real kind of glam stuff. I'm going to go Trash next. I really like this album. Maybe it's overproduced, but I think Alice Cooper, again, transitioned very well into this. He brought in Desmond Child, who was the guy who was working with all the bands at the time. He was working with Bon Jovi, he was working with Kiss. And Alice even said, like, who is this guy? Like, these guys having these helping these bands get these big hit records. So I got to hook up with this guy, and that was Desmond Child. And he brought in a lot of guest stars on this. I mean, John Bon Jovi and Richie Sambora are on this. Joan Jett appears on this in the song House of Fire. She also co-wrote it. Really cool. But, I mean, Poison was the big hit off of here. Poison, Alice still plays in concert to this day. Really cool song. I'm not really tired of it. I still really enjoy it. But I think there's some better tunes on this album that I'd love to hear him perform. Like This Maniac's in Love With You is one of my favorite Alice Cooper songs. I mean, why wasn't that used in some slasher movie? You could still use it in a slasher movie. It's so perfect. Really fun tune. I like the title track. Hell Is Living Without You is really cool. Bed of Nails is awesome. Yeah, really heavy tune. Only My Heart Talkin's not bad. That's a ballad. Steven Tyler appears on that. It's cool. Yeah, I don't mind. Trash. We're in the top 2, everybody. Okay, I'm going Raise Your Fist and Yell. Now, this might top a lot of people's list. I mean, it's maybe could flip-flop. It's a really heavy album, probably the heaviest. I got something in my eye. But yeah, probably one of the heaviest of this period. I mean, this is like a full-on heavy metal album. This was when Alice Cooper was like really coming back. He appeared at WrestleMania 3 with Jake the Snake Roberts in 1987. Yeah, he was embracing the whole metal thing. And I mean, there's some great tunes on here. You got Freedom opening the album, really heavy. Lock Me Up is cool. Give the Radio Back, very big, heavy tune. Just pretty much sums up the whole album. Give the Radio Back to the Maniacs. Step on You is cool. I always really like that tune. Prince of Darkness, which is from the John Carpenter movie. The movie is poo. It's not very good, but I like this. I like the title tune. That's a really cool song. Chop 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 is cool. Love the opening on that. Roses on White Lace is a super heavy song, and he's been doing that one live recently because with Nita Strauss in the band now, she kind of grew up on these albums, so I guess, you know, play some songs, you know, for that some new band would have grown up with. And at the time here, he had Kane Roberts on guitar. Really underrated guitar player. He was just like a big rip titan, this big bodybuilder dude. And I guess Alice kind of enjoyed, the freak show aspect of it, this big shredded titan. But he can play. So I'm sure you kind of look at it, well, it was kind of ridiculous, but wow, he can really play the guitar. So yeah, really cool things he was doing at this time. I really like the look of this, you know, and this album cover is insane. Alice Cooper's face is growing on this kid's hand. Yeah. Really cool. But my number one is Constrictor. Sometimes I would even say this is my favorite Alice Cooper album. At least of the 80s. I mean, I think my favorite Alice Cooper album would be Welcome to My Nightmare. Because, I mean, it's just so cool. And, I mean, it's so classic. And it's like a concept album, tells a story. Really well written. Really well put together. But this one, as far as the 80s albums, I mean, this is like the soundtrack to like an 80s, like end of the year, like summertime movie, like a summer camp movie. This could be the soundtrack of the summer camp movie. And it actually even has like a summer camp song, He's Back, the Man Behind the Mask, which was for Friday the 13th Part 6, Jason Lives, summer camp movie from the 80s. One of the worst ones in the series. It's stupid, completely ridiculous. But Alice did the theme song. It's actually perfect. It doesn't make sense the way it's used in the movie. It's like the kids, you know, loading up the car, getting ready to go to camp. This is how I remember it. I might be wrong. But the kids are like loading up the car to get ready to go to camp, and you hear this song playing in the background. Shouldn't that be a warning? He's back, the man behind the mask. You listen to the song on the radio. Because, you know, you might want to, you know, maybe not go to camp this year. Because, you know, he's back. The man behind the mask, Jason Voorhees, is going to kill you. But, ridiculous song. But also in here you got Teenage Frankenstein, Give It Up, Thrill My Gorilla, which is so silly, but I love it. Life and Death of the Party, great tune. Simple Disobedience. Crawlin', which is one of my favorite Alice Cooper songs, very underrated. Just love the melody of that tune, just love how it's put together. And you also got the Great American Success Story, which is the theme song to the Rodney Dangerfield movie, Back to School. It was just never used. They used some like sucky, I don't know who the hell the band was, some just no name. I didn't even bother looking it up. Because anytime I do look it up, I forget. Because who cares? They should have used the Alice Cooper song. It's so perfect. So that means he would have had 2 songs in movies released in 1986 had the song been used for Back to School. So this is like a soundtrack album. It was like made to be used in movies released in the 80s. And I just really love this album. And here's, of course, the giant CD format. Gotta show that because it's got cool album art. I love this album cover. And on the back, he has been constricted. He is now dead because the snake killed him. Yeah, just such a cool album. And a really interesting period of Alice Cooper. You got all these different things happening. We almost lost him, but he came back. And Constrictor was also the big return album. He did the MTV special, The Nightmare Returns. And that was a big deal. Alice Cooper making his big comeback. And he's still going to this day. Still doing concerts. He just put out a new album. That's why, I mean, it'd be difficult to do an entire Alice Cooper ranking because we'll be here all day. He's got so many albums. But that's how I rank the Alice Cooper 80s catalog. And if you're a fan, I hope you enjoyed this. That's it for this week. Until we meet again, this is Brett Strong saying good journey.